The way you're using your habit tracker right now is probably making you less consistent because it trains your brain to believe that missing one day means you failed. And once you feel like a failure, you stop coming back. Over the years, I've read over 100 self-help books, and the main lesson I learned is that the reason people don't stay consistent isn't that they need a better morning routine. It's that they're using the wrong definition of consistency. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the one habit that makes every other habit easier. And no, it's not discipline. And by the end, you'll know exactly what to do when you miss a day so that your habit tracker doesn't look like this, so that you don't quit altogether. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Veronika. Here I make videos on self-improvement, sustainable habits, and creating a life you love. Before we start, I want to invite you guys to my new private community called Enough. It's a space for people who want to build habits and routines and get motivated together. We're starting with monthly book clubs and monthly webinars led by me, and the community is still forming. So if you want to be one of the first members and help shape it from the very beginning, I leave all the details linked below. Alright, so the habit you'll actually need in 2026 is the habit of zooming out. Learning to measure consistency over months, over seasons instead of days. Because real life isn't linear. Your energy changes, your priorities shift, your body needs rest, and some weeks will look nothing like others. When you practice this habit of zooming out, you stop treating every missed day as failure and start building routines from self-trust, self-love, and identity. And once you have that habit, consistency stops being something you have to force. It becomes something you naturally return to. So my biggest goal with today's video is going to be showing you how to go from this habit tracker looking like this to something that looks a little bit more like this. And as you can see, this habit tracker doesn't look perfect because perfectionism doesn't exist, and we're not trying to hit every single habit perfectly every single day. We're trying to learn how to return to our habits when we miss a day because it's inevitable. Okay, first let's talk about why we fail our habits. Why our habit trackers start looking like this. First, everything is perfect, and then suddenly we don't really care anymore. The most common reason people fail their habits is not lack of discipline or motivation. It's the way your brain interprets consistency and inconsistency, because the brain is wired for all or nothing thinking. Research in psychology shows that when people miss a planned behavior, let's say you miss a workout, the brain interprets it as failure. You're a failure. There's something wrong with you. And this kind of thinking turns into self-identity damage. This triggers the what the hell effect. You miss a workout and it leads you to abandon your gym membership altogether. What the hell? I've already blown it. So why should I continue trying? We're way more likely to abandon our habits completely than to continue imperfectly. And this is exactly why it's so hard for most people to stay consistent. We want to be perfect, or we don't want to do it at all. The thing is, if we zoom out, one missed workout doesn't really reduce your progress, but psychologically it feels like the habit is broken. This is why streak-based systems are so fragile. They turn one missed day into an identity threat. Second, habits fail when we rely on willpower instead of identity. Willpower is a limited resource, and it fluctuates with your sleep, with your stress, with your emotional load, with illness, with your hormonal changes. When your habits are built on I should, I have to, they collapse the moment life gets hard. And we all know it, life gets hard almost every single day. But identity-based habits, habits that are tied to who you believe you are way more resilient. That was actually one of the main reasons why I decided to do a yoga teacher training in 2025, because I really love yoga. It's a part of my my identity now. And I really like to show myself that, okay, look, Veronika, yoga is a part of your life. You do this, you do that, you do a handstand course, you go do a yoga teacher training. I'm showing myself all of that proof that yoga is a part of my identity now. 3, people overestimate short-term consistency and underestimate long-term return. It's a very famous quote by Bill Gates. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Because of perfectionism and short, perfect streaks, we really undervalue repetition over time. Slow repetition over time. Slow identity change. We think everything should be done quickly and everything should be perfect quickly. And this leads to a cognitive mismatch. People expect habits to feel linear in a non-linear system. And when the reality doesn't match the expectation, motivation drops. Not because your habit isn't working, but because your measurement is wrong. We don't live in a linear world and humans are in stable systems. Consistency is not about repeating the same behavior every day under the same conditions. That definition only works for machines, not humans. Expecting linear output from the non-linear system is the fastest way to burn out. Alright, now let's talk about what consistency actually looks like. Because yes, in this video, I talk so much about the habit of zooming out and the habit of measuring consistency in this other way. So what I really want you to understand is that consistency is returning, not repeating everything perfectly. What predicts your long-term success with a habit is re-engagement after disruption, not uninterrupted performance. People with successful habits don't avoid breaks. They resume faster with less emotional friction. I take breaks from yoga, from working out all the time because I know my body needs rest. But I always come back. This is why now this habit feels automatic, not something I have to make myself do. And I know that emotionally, one missed day feels big. You start feeling really bad because you ruined your streak. But let's be honest, statistically, that's irrelevant. Consistency lives in the zoomed out view. And now let's talk about the 2 types of habits, because not all habits should be handled the same way. The first type of habits, let's call it this way, is your identity building habits. I am becoming this person. These are habits that are new to you. You're actively integrating them into your identity. For example, for me, a new identity building habit that I really want to focus on this year is going to bed by 10 p.m. Usually, I go to bed by 11 p.m., by 11:30, and to be honest, I don't really like it. Like, I really want to start going to bed earlier, and so this feels new, but at the same time, I know this habit still needs my conscious attention. So when it's an identity building habit, it's nice to track, to observe patterns, to analyze and notice if there's anything in the environment that might be blocking you from actually practicing this habit consistently. For me, one of the major blockers is that I tend to have dinner really late. And obviously, if you have dinner late and then, you have to do your evening routine, and by the time it's 10, 11 p.m., you're not actually done. And so that's why by tracking my habit, I was able to analyze all of this and see how I could help myself be more consistent. The goal right now is data, not discipline. So how do we treat missed days? We treat them as information only. We treat inconsistency as feedback, and breaks don't mean that you are a failure. One tool I use every day to track my habits, especially my identity building habits, is my simple weekly planner. There is an area with your habit tracker where you can track up to 5 habits every single day. And then the reason why I decided to showcase it this way is so that you can zoom out instead of obsessing over daily perfection. You're analyzing, you're treating it as data, you're looking for patterns. confidence. The link to get this planner is going to be in the description below. Okay, now let's talk about the second type of habits, your identity integrated habits. This is who I am. These are habits that are already embedded into your self-concept. For example, for me, it's yoga, it's drinking water, it's reading books. That's why I don't really track reading books, because I always read something. It's just a part of my life now. These habits easily survive interruptions because they don't depend on daily motivation. Maybe right now you're really busy with work or you're traveling somewhere, but you know you will try to find at least 5 minutes, at least 10 minutes, because this habit is a part of you now. You trust yourself to come back to this habit no matter what, because you've proven to yourself over the last months and years that you can do it, that it is a part of your identity now. And so how do I track my identity integrated habits? Honestly, I don't, because often identity integrated habits need trust and space. So I really hope now you understand that the one habit you're gonna benefit from so much in 2026 is understanding that if you skip a day, your habit tracker doesn't have to turn to something like this, like either perfection or I'm not doing anything because I don't really care. I want to keep a perfect streak, and if it's not perfect, I don't want to do it at all. It's okay to have your habit tracker like this. It shows that when you skip a day, you always come back. And yes, sometimes you skip 2 days, sometimes you skip 3 days, but you will always come back. When I zoom out and when I look at this looks very consistent to me. This looks like I'm building my habits from the place of self-trust. And now that you know the one habit that you actually need to build in 2026, the next step is understanding what self-sabotaging beliefs or behaviors might make it more difficult for you. I used to live with those beliefs for a very long time, and they really kept me stuck. So to learn what those beliefs are, click here. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you can, and I'll see you in my next video.